for something different.
Sure. I got the world by the tail.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're taking a look at the drama-filled, scandalous and industry-shifting romantic life of Elizabeth Taylor.
You've got a nice smell about you.
Actress, star, icon, wife. As a movie star, she was a luminous presence on the screen. From the time she was a teen, Elizabeth Taylor was being fashioned into a public persona responsible for upholding the reputation of a multi-million-dollar studio. However, her active and tumultuous love life generated more attention than even classic Hollywood's tireless publicity departments could handle.
You ever thought of marrying, or did you ever think in your career of marrying a comedian? I mean, you know.
They were, most of them, comedians.
Her career survived scandals that would have toppled a star of less magnitude. Somehow she was able to use that publicity to her advantage. But after 8 marriages, that intense attention and worldwide notoriety came at the expense of her privacy.
I've had extreme happiness. I've had addictions. I'm like a living example of what people can go through and survive.
Early stardom and first husband. By the end of the 1940s, Elizabeth Taylor was barely 18, but she was already one of MGM's biggest stars. She began working in more mature fare in the 1950s, and she entered that decade with her first of 7 husbands.
I didn't marry your mother till I was 25.
Oh, I know, Pops, but that was millions of years ago. Look at all the men in Ben's class at college. Loads of them are married and have children.
GIs.
Buckley says everyone should marry young.
The National Velvet star wanted to settle down quickly, citing some traditional beliefs about love, marriage, and sex. While she entertained proposals from some esteemed gentlemen, she eventually chose hotel heir Nicky Hilton.
To Elizabeth, he was Prince Charming, and she ignored friends' warnings about Hilton's rumored temper and womanizing.
Her home studio had a heavy hand in their opulent nuptials, as it paired nicely with Taylor's new film, Father of the Bride. But Hilton's abuse had a calamitous effect on her life. She had a miscarriage as a result of his mistreatment, and the two divorced several months later.
She was in despair. She had tremendous self-doubts. You can imagine how she felt that here she had made this plunge into adulthood and it had turned into nothing but pain.
Hollywood husbands. For her next 2 marriages, Taylor chose men who were familiar with her industry. British actor Michael Wilding caught her eye, and the two tied the knot in 1952. She was about to turn 20, and Wilding was pushing 40.
Elizabeth was rediscovering her self-confidence, and Wilding was happy to let his movie star wife take charge of their future.
The union lasted 5 years and saw the birth of Taylor's first 2 children, Michael and Christopher. Her third husband, Mike Todd, was also much older than her.
Todd, he was 25 years older than you. You were 24, he was 49. But that was a kind of storybook marriage. That was like a movie.
Interestingly, the Oscar-winning producer had a flair for manipulating the news media. Their well-publicized marriage was to the benefit of both their careers, and Taylor reportedly admired Todd deeply.
He had more energy and knowledge and excitement, a sense of wonder about him. And he made everything he touched wondrous.
Sadly, their storybook romance ended with his death in a 1958 plane crash. He left Taylor behind with their infant daughter, Liza.
I just started screaming.
How did you survive?
I have no idea. I really don't know.
An affair to forget. In the aftermath of Todd's death, Elizabeth Taylor was hounded by the same publicity machine they had enjoyed as a couple. She was soon accompanied by Eddie Fisher.
She was living with the ghost of Mike Todd. And the closest thing to him that she could find to keep that ghost alive was Eddie Fisher.
The actor and singer was a dear friend of her late love and the spouse of her MGM colleague Debbie Reynolds. However, as Fisher's daughter Carrie put it, he found an unconventional way to console her.
Naturally, my father flew to Elizabeth's side, gradually making his way slowly to her front.
As you can imagine, their affair fueled a public frenzy. Reynolds and Fisher divorced, Taylor took Fisher as her 4th husband, and the ensuing scandal saw her painted as the homewrecker of a squeaky clean celebrity couple. This was the late 50s after all. Divorce was still taboo, and that's to say nothing of adultery.
Hedda Hopper reproached Elizabeth. She was then the leading gossip columnist in Hollywood.
And Elizabeth's reply was brutal and frank. She said, "Mike is dead and I am alive. What do you expect me to do, sleep alone?"
Scandal, superstardom, and struggle. Eddie Fisher once said that Liz Taylor was the love of his life. Conversely, Taylor considered their marriage a huge mistake, a byproduct of her grief over Todd's death.
Sunday morning and scotch on your breath?
Oh, it's good scotch. 20 years old.
And cigar smoke?
I always said I'd try anything once.
Ever try common sense?
Only in desperation.
Despite the negative publicity, this was an intensely successful period of Taylor's career. Between 1958 and 1961, she earned 4 Oscar nominations. But there were health troubles amid her success. In March 1961, she was enduring a bout with pneumonia that nearly killed her. It was so severe she underwent a tracheotomy. In April, she was collecting her first Oscar for Butterfield 8. Taylor shared the common view she only won the award out of sympathy.
You know that Latin motto, sic transit gloria? I'm the gloria, and in my case, the sick is for real sick. I'm not too sure about the transit. I think it has something to do with my car.
Ironically, her reputation and operatic struggles only made her more famous. In 1961, she was also working on Cleopatra. That film's behind-the-scenes dramas would become the stuff of legend.
To have waited so long, to know so suddenly. It's late. Oh, it hurts. How love can stab the heart.
Love on the Nile. Months of delays, production woes, and illness plagued Cleopatra. Taylor's only solace may have been her co-star, British actor Richard Burton. Everyone could see their chemistry immediately.
One thing that happened was in one of their first love scenes, it ended and Joe Mankiewicz said, "Cut." And he said, "Cut." And then he finally had to go, "Cut." And then they got up and everybody, of course, laughed. And, everybody knew by then what was going on.
Before she knew it, Taylor was once again locked in an adulterous affair. The news media were tripping over themselves to cover this burgeoning Hollywood romance.
Gossip was bought, sold, and published everywhere. And any photo of the two lovers was worth a small fortune. Even the mainstream news outlets began to print the story.
Hordes of paparazzi got in on the action, snapping and selling shots of them from every possible angle. Taylor married Burton just days after divorcing Eddie Fisher. When Cleopatra was finally released, they couldn't go anywhere, together or apart, without inviting a spectacle.
Anthony, how will I live?
Same as I. One breath upon the other. Each bringing us one breath closer.
The legend of Liz and Dick. The sensation of their relationship was unlike anything even their Hollywood friends had seen. Coverage of this power couple heralded a new and invasive era of celebrity journalism.
The public was ready for the 60s revolution, and Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton just symbolized adulterous love that was celebrated.
Taylor and Burton didn't do much to quell the public's interest either. They played out facsimiles of their relationship in the movies, fueling and fusing their public personas with the people they played on the screen.
You can sit around with a gin running out of your mouth, you can humiliate me, you can tear me to pieces all night. That's perfectly okay, that's all right.
You can stand it.
I cannot stand it.
You can stand it. You married me for it.
Taylor won her second Oscar co-starring with Burton in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, a movie with a profoundly dysfunctional marriage at its center. However, theirs was a union marked by passion. It could be as romantic as it was contentious.
I think having a fight, an out-and-out, outrageous, ridiculous fight, is one of the greatest exercises in marital togetherness.
So nice they did it twice. Inevitably, all that fighting and spending and tabloid interference led to a divorce in 1974. Their wild tempers and mercurial personalities led them to remarry in 1975, but only for a very brief time.
Do you suppose they ever met again?
Everything that I shall ever want to hold or look upon or have or be is here now with you.
Their romance is still considered one of the most iconic in all of show business. In fact, Taylor said their flame never really went out. If Richard Burton hadn't passed away in 1984, she claimed they might have got hitched again.
In between marriages and stuff, we'd flirt with each other, and if we were sitting next to each other, we'd feel each other under the table. And it was very hard for me to accept his death.
According to her, the men she married after him were just placeholders. In the 1980s, Taylor flirted with becoming a politician's wife and tied the knot with Virginia Republican John Warner. This period of her life was marked by a massive career slowdown and scandal sheet coverage about her personal troubles.
I think Washington for women is a desperately lonely city, especially if you've been active all your life. Because if you're a politician's wife and don't have your own role, there's nothing for you to do.
Last marriages and devotion to activism. Taylor divorced Warner in the early 1980s. She got married once more to her 7th husband, Larry Fortensky, a construction worker.
We give each other great support in our sobriety, and there is a kind of closeness that is like nothing show businessy. It's very private.
Right.
And very profound.
She also pursued her passion for philanthropy during this time. Spurred on by the illness and passing of her friend, actor Rock Hudson, Taylor threw her time, money, and energy into the fight against HIV and AIDS. And though Taylor and Fortensky split in '96, they remained friends until her death.
Larry is a very sweet, kind, funny man, and I was so proud when he kept on working.
In the last years of her life, the icon wrote off questions about ever getting married again, instead devoting her status and stardom to foundations dedicated to eradicating HIV and AIDS. She continued this work up until her death in 2011 at the age of 79.
Well, I won't give in, and I won't give up, because the world needs you to live.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
A legacy. Elizabeth Taylor's romantic history changed the way the public interacted with the personal lives of its stars. Much of modern celebrity culture and the way we engage with it is a direct result of her immense popularity and the coverage of her 8 marriages. But that notoriety also gave way to something else.
Those against gay marriages say marriage should only be between a man and a woman. God, I of all people know that that doesn't always work.
Taylor demonstrated the value of using a platform for good. With decades of learning how to craft a public image and get attention, her later life and career was about engaging her fame in service of humanity.
Actors do have opinions, and why not express them if it's for something that's really worthy?
That legacy lives on in her children and grandchildren, many of whom are still heavily involved in the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation.
Today, over 40 million people live healthy, powerful lives with HIV.
What's your favorite Elizabeth Taylor performance? Tell us in the comments.
You're all alike, aren't you? Play tough.
I'm not like anyone, I'm me.
Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.